Hey, everybody. Michelle is back. It is October 26th, 2023, on a Thursday, I think. Yep, on a Thursday. I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificent, and marvelous. I am, because you know what? I just had me some ice cream and yum. I make sure I indulge in myself, okay? Because, when I used to have, when I was out on my own, struggling to put food on the table and paying bills. I mean, I just wouldn't wish that on anybody to have to go through those kind of things. I was kind of angry too when I moved out on my own for the first time in my 20s, because I told you I was the last one to leave the house. I was the last one to leave the house because I got concerned about my mom. But then at the same time, I realized, you know what? I got to go and live. I got to go and live. Because a lot of my friends, like I said, were, had gotten married, had did this or that and the other. And I just felt like I was behind the eight ball. And so I just, one day I just decided, okay, it's time. And so, and what I did, which was weird, because I was working in banking at the time, and this woman came into the bank, right, to cash a check. And then when I looked down at the city where she was from, I was like, wow, where is that city at? And she told me, and I was like, I said, wow. So I don't know if I went over to the city to check it out first. I don't know what happened, but apparently I did. So I decided to make a lateral move to that city. I wanted to get out of the city where I was born and raised, and I wanted to get into another city. And that that was kind of crazy, because that meant, I was just, I was taking myself to parts unknown. I knew nothing about this little young, well, it was, it's not young, but it was a little city in the center of the state that I decided I wanted to go there. So I went to my my supervisors and all that, and told them I wanted to make a lateral move. And before I knew it, I was in the city and I had my own first studio apartment. And anyway, I remember I was really, really angry because I really couldn't afford to do anything. All I can do is just sit there, because I just didn't have any money to do all the kind of things that I wanted to do. And my car was barely, able to get from here to there, barely able to get to work and back. But anyway, so in other words, sometimes it's gonna, sometimes there's not going to be the best situations for anything, right? There's not going to be the best situations for what you want things to be. It's not going to be possible. And I just knew that it was this time for me to move on and get out of my parents' house and figure it out. My brothers went to the military, so they had that kind of structure and discipline. Some got married and some blah, whatever. They all had their own whatever. But I knew it was time for me to go. So again, my situation was different now. Like I said, if my parents were still alive, chances are I probably would have wanted to stay with them just to make sure they were taken care of. Not taken care of per se, but just watched, because a lot of things were happening that was pissing me off, and I'm not going to go into it. But I know that a lot of people lie about what they actually are doing versus what they're doing. And that's just, I'm not going to say any more about that. But anyway, you have to know when it's time for you, and you have to look at the big picture of what it means to you. Like I said, now, there's no way now. First of all, I don't want to get into a position where I need 3 jobs just to survive. That makes no sense to me personally. Because if you need 3 jobs just to survive, you need to, in my opinion, I'm going to reevaluate what am I working for me to need 3 jobs. I need to give up something. If I need to give up a vehicle, I will give up my vehicle and walk. Okay, if my apartment is too expensive, I will see if I can get a roommate. Or move back in, something to that. I wouldn't do that now, is my point. I wouldn't be working no 3 jobs right now. Okay? not in the state of that we're in right now. When your materialism don't matter at all to Mother Nature. And a lot of people are figuring that out, I hope. Like a lot of people get all excited and think, get this false security about owning real estate. Okay, and then when Mother Nature comes through and and wipes it out, what do you have? So we just have to look at things a little differently if we choose to, and recognize that it's not about our materialism. It's about indulging. And so when I say I like to indulge myself, I mean in eating. Like I said, I just had me some ice cream, and that makes me feel fantastic. Okay, because I can remember, like I said, where I can barely had anything on my table to eat. Okay, and I said to myself, I remember too when had just moved out on my own, and I can barely put food on the table. I said, okay, at some point, I just knew at some point, I love food too much to be going without. I really do. I would rather give up my vehicle as long as I know I'm putting food on the table. I'm being very honest about that, because that makes me feel good. And you need to be nourished properly so that you can, that you are being clear and effective. You have a clear sight of what's really going on, and you have to be nourished properly. Okay, now I told you about the poisoning of the food. Yes, the food is poisoned, in my opinion, but so far our bodies are allowing us to take that in. Okay, but if anybody is thinking that they're going to be able to live 200 years on the diet that we're eating, they're in delusion. They're in complete delusion. Okay, so yes, I have ice cream. I have chocolate chip cookies. I indulge myself, and make sure I'm taken care of, and make sure, like I said, I'm nourished properly. I take a lot of vitamins. I work out. I'm going to start back with the weights at some point, just make sure I keep that toned up. I walk around in the neighborhood, you understood. And yeah, it's just weird about how these clouds are forming, the formation of the clouds and stuff. Some of it is interference, but some of those formations mean things, they really do. I see the military, I didn't know there was a military around, but I guess military is everywhere, or whatever, who's ever up in these planes, these jets, they're everywhere now. I didn't see them in the beginning when I moved here, but here they are. I know I am near the airport, or what do you call it? Near the airport, but whatever. So yes, I make sure that I am indulged when it comes to food. Food makes me happy. And so you have to figure out what makes you happy. For some people is, I don't know what it is, maybe. But you have to make sure you are not overindulging yourself, but don't deny yourself some ice cream or chocolate chip cookies or whatever. Otherwise, if you keep denying yourself, to me, that's abusive. And when you do get ice cream, you're going to eat 2 or 3. You don't eat the whole pint of it, or whatever. You're going to just go insane about it. And eat it. So anyway, whatever. But I just want to come back and say something too that's I'm sensing and receiving that's extremely important about time again. I sense, that this is quote unquote the last rodeo for some people. Now, what does I mean by that? It's the last rodeo for particular types of spirit forms. Okay, and when I told you what a spirit form is like a battery that generates, the personalities that you become. In other words, it's like a battery that, of energy that creates us. I'm not getting into no more of that. But I sense that this is the last rodeo for particular types of spirit forms that have been procreating certain type of personalities. What do I mean by that? What do I mean is that it's the last rodeo. Okay, their spirit form is going to either be suspended indefinitely or whatever the case may be. Okay, whatever the case may be. In other words, their time is up. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, okay, what the hell is she talking about? Look, there is something about time. And I feel as though that there was some type of alteration in time. And it was just a last ditch effort for a certain cluster of human beings. Okay, it's not anything about their spirit. The spirit form is just their battery, so to speak, a battery of energy that creates them, that brings them into being from procreation, of course. Procreation is, preferably, a man and a woman, or, but anyway, I'm gonna stay away from that. So I sense that there is that the time is up for certain batteries, if you will, of spirit forms or energies of spirit forms, and that they are going to be suspended indefinitely. Now, why is that? Well, I told you, each time you are reborn or reincarnated, you are somebody completely different each time. Each time you're a completely different person. What you have inside of you in your storage bank and your consciousness and your subconscious and your whatever those consciousness are, whatever is there in your storage bank, consciousness, which are a variety of such, which is kind of irrelevant to kind of go into it, just sort of kind of paint the picture of what you have, what it is, this ball of energy, if you want to call it that is a part of all of us. We are part of all of this energy. But each time you do reborn, reincarnate, or another personality is procreated, you're completely wiped out of, not completely wiped out, but you have a complete unburden of the previous personality. There's you're not carrying your burdens, so to speak. You're fresh and clean. Okay, you're fresh and clean. And you are a new personality with the impulses of your previous, and all of it from 10 million to 25 million worth. I mean, there's 10 million to 25 million plus personalities. Okay, or more. But that's, like I said, we've been going through this for 10 million to 25 million plus. Okay. There's a cluster of spirit forms, okay, that each time they do have a fresh and clean personality to deal with the reality, deal with the issues that we all are to deal with, they still pick up that frequency of degeneracy. They still pick up that energy of this degeneracy. It doesn't matter who they are, what they are, and why they are, and this and that and the other. In other words, they're becoming more and more degenerate each time they're born. So it's not, like I said, it's not the battery. It's just what conjures out of it, or what is procreated out of that battery of personalities, also known as human beings. Okay, their time is up. In other words, when I say their time is up, that means that they're not going to get any more assistance from anybody, anywhere, shape or form, to assist them in their evolution. Okay, in other words, their battery may be pulled off the shelf, so to speak, and placed over here, and other spirit forms that are waiting and circling our planet will take their place. Okay, I told you, as a collective, we have not raised our vibration enough, raised our frequency enough to be for the age of this planet. Okay, and the allotted time in a physical form, a material form. Okay, before you can go on to, what do they call it, light bodies or whatnot, and that's a whole nother process in itself. Okay, that I wouldn't focus on it. I mean, I really wouldn't. I mean, you're talking about billions and billions and billions and billions of years of transformations. And then you'll get people coming forward attempting to explain it to you, which is a bunch of rambling, in my opinion, because chances are they don't have no idea what they're talking about either. Okay, this is something unknown to all of us. No one has been there. Again, if you consider yourself a light body, okay, and you know, I just won't go there. That's all. I wouldn't go there, but everybody has free will. Or to say that you're more than human, actually. When you say that you're a light body or whatever you're saying you're more than human. And I told you we're more so closer to inhumanity or inhumane than anything that anybody wants to accept. Okay, so that's what I mean. And let me just share this. If someone's in that situation where they're going to be essentially shut down, they don't know it. So that's why. But those of us that know things, in other words, we have no excuse to be to be wasting time, rambling and putting out unnecessary information to people, doing everything you can to make yourself feel important, confusing people intentionally, and I say just enjoy your moments you have with your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friends and family. Enjoy that. Okay? And put out information that you sense that will provide value to people. Not to bestow how knowledgeable you are and how important you think you are. No. Share and control your narrative. Again, I love it that people are controlling their narrative and just telling us what they want us to tell, whatever they want to tell us. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant to me, and it ought to be irrelevant to others. That's it. Whatever is coming out of their mouth, they're going to take responsibility and be held accountable for that. Okay, a lot of people, like I said, are still pointing blame, more so blaming women, being concerned about what women are doing, and not allowing women to be women and be together and attempt to resolve situations, because a lot of these women are the mothers. A lot of these women are mothers, grandmothers. Okay, so if you're not there to encourage and support, move on. Okay, I would love for some of these degenerate type of behaviors to be discussed about men. Why are men degenerate? It has nothing, absolutely nothing at all to do with women. Not at all. And so a lot of people, or a lot of human beings who are acting inhumanely, have no idea that they are, and they can care less whether they are or not. They are far, far, far gone. They cannot be helped at all. They cannot be saved at all. They are just going to have to exist as long as they do. Some of them live into their age. I mean, see, that's how you know that no one can ever say back down the line in the future that they were not given opportunities to resolve things. That would be a goddamn lie. Okay, because everything's documented. Everything's saved. Okay, and anybody that wants to ever go back in the future, anybody that ever really genuinely want to go back into the future, okay, that does exist, via time travel or whatever it's called, whatever it will be called. Okay, we have future, we have the past, and we're in the middle here, simultaneously. Okay, and so at the end of the day, at these final hours, you need to be responsible for what you're thinking and not be so concerned about telling anybody anything else. Okay, fix your issues. Why do you hate yourself? Okay, why do you project on others? Okay, do you, I mean, I know some people, when they look in the mirror at themselves, yes, they're grotesque by what they see. Okay, they're not happy with what they see. Okay, they know that they make women's skin crawl. There's a lot of men like that. They know that they make women's skin crawl. That women do not want to hang out with them in a intimate situation. Yes, they'll be your friend. And so a lot of men are realizing that. And I'm sorry, I'm not picking on men. I'm just making it very clear and effective where it is. We know that there's a degeneracy in this with men. Okay, whether it doesn't even matter too much about what was the past lives of it all. It's all right now anyway. And what I'm saying is there's a cluster of human beings that are generated each time through procreation. In other words, during the becoming and the passing, they still are able to capture a certain frequency, a negative frequency, and that is how they conduct their lives. In other words, they end up just as degenerate as their previous predecessor or previous personality, and even though they're two different people. Okay, each time you're born, you are unburdened with your past lives. Okay, you have no necessary connection to that. You are given a free reign, a free slate to make things right with your current experiences and with your current life. You ought to have no concern about what you were or what your previous what your previous personalities were. It's about now. So in the future, there is not going to be, it's going to all make sense to the future personalities when they realize that a certain cluster of personalities or a certain cluster of spirit forms will not again allow any type of rebirths to happen again. Okay, and what's going to happen to them? Like I said, they're just going to be thrown into an actual black hole, a black hole that exists all over this universe, and just be spun out into another idea. Okay, I told you there's at least 129 billion spirit forms waiting in queue, so to speak, to create or procreate personalities. 129 billion. Okay, so they're waiting to take your place. For those of you that continually roll around in the abyss of your consciousness and waste time on irrelevancy and more so bothering other people and just will not leave other people alone and allow them to, if they are healing, allow them to heal. But no, instead of people bothering them and aggravating people, wanting to know everything about what people are doing, who they're sleeping with, who they're fucking. Okay, because no one's fucking them. Okay, so yes, am I being harsh? Sometimes you do. And sometimes my tones are going to change, sometimes my sounds. Okay, like I said, I know what love is, and I can see self-hatred. I can sense and receive self-hatred. And people that are in self-hatred do not, under any circumstances, understand what self-love is. Don't be fooled. Yes, they can put out beautiful books about it. They can put out beautiful poems about it. All that. They can conjure up all of that because they may be picking up impulses from others that do have genuine love and genuine self-love. It's all there. That frequency is there for anyone to grab at certain points of their developing. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of it all. Is to help with the evolution of the consciousness by any means necessary. Okay. Billy Meyer didn't just come onto the surface of this planet for no reason. Okay, there was plans behind all of that. And it'll be discovered far, far, far distance in the future. Okay, this time in our lives now is going to mark a historic moment for the universe. Okay, I told you, a lot of times we put out these signals wanting to know if people are there or if any human beings are there. Oh, they're there. And trust me, they're watching. They've been watching for millions of years outside the universe and on this particular planet Earth for millions of years. Okay, so our destination or our wherever we are in the soul universe is it's known to a lot of people. And let's just hope, for the sake of hoping, that the Sirius constellation no longer has this revenge or retaliation to come to Earth and finish what they started. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we don't know. Okay, and there's a lot of people rambling and intentionally creating confusion and divisiveness and discord, among human beings that are genuinely doing everything in their power to self-correct themselves. Okay, and I don't want to start calling people out, but if I need to, I don't think I need to. I think I speak clearly and effectively, and my tones and sounds get around. How about that? Just like with everybody else. Okay, so self-love is action and behavior. Self-hatred is action and behavior as well. Okay, someone with genuine love for people, regardless of their sexuality, their race, their affiliations, know self-hate when they see it. Okay, they know it. Okay, I don't tolerate anyone being mistreated, regardless of who they are. Okay, and I've had plenty of experiences of those who think they're better than everybody else, and they'll walk up in your face with bullshit. I usually shut that all down. Okay, and then usually they come back and apologize when they realize how foolish they were and how foolish they're acting. Nobody's any better than anyone else. I don't care what your circumstances are. Okay, so I'm going to say that. I'm going to keep having to repeat this because I keep hearing it and I keep sensing and receiving it, that there are these so-called superior beings, in their own fucking fantasy of how important they think they are. Okay, and don't have any experience to even wipe their ass properly. Okay, so I advocate for that, and which is usually in the form of advocating for women, children, elderly. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and send peace and love right now. I'm getting hungry again, and I'm gonna. I just want everyone to understand. These are defining moments. Not to waste your time, not to waste your energy, even with those that ought to know better. That's where I'm finding the most disappointment, actually, in the action and behaviors of those that ought to know better. But it is still the responsibility of the individual to figure out the false teachers, the false messengers, the false whatever, these cult members, these cult leaders. They're among us, unfortunately. But it's a responsibility of each individual to figure it out, okay? All right, so I'm going to send peace and love again. And trust me, I'll be back.